My name is Anika and I'm a local vegan and vegetarian private chef and I'm so excited to cook with you today. All right everyone, first we're gonna start with the potatoes. We're gonna check all of them and make sure that all of the eyes are scooped out of them, and then we're gonna get them boiling because they're the thing that take the longest. Okay, let's go ahead and add all the potatoes to the boiling water. And you wanna make sure that the potatoes, really they only need about an inch of water covering it, otherwise it's gonna take forever to boil. Let's begin with a mise en place. This means separating all the items into their necessary categories so that it makes it easy for cooking. For example, all of the bean items should be together, all of the aioli items should be together, and all the tofu items should be together. We're gonna separate these into separate ramekins so that it's easy when we're cooking to just toss everything in. A 1/4 teaspoon of garlic salt. A 1/4 cup of vegan mayo, which is 4 tablespoons. 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a 1/4 teaspoon of sriracha. So basically you want to separate your wet and your dry ingredients and then have everything together for the aioli. Next we're going to prepare all of our garnishes. So we're going to very thinly slice the cabbage. We're going to chop the tomato. And we're gonna mince the cilantro. For the tofu scramble, we're going to do a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 lime juiced. Remember to keep the wet and dry ingredients separate, and we're going to do sriracha to taste depending on your preference of heat. If you're doing the vegetarian version, we're going to whisk together 3 eggs, a pinch of salt, and sriracha to taste. If you want to make your eggs a little fluffier, go ahead and toss in a little cream. Now we've got everything separated and we're ready to party. Let's get cooking. Okay, let's check the potatoes. You can tell that when they're done when you can stick a fork into it and it very easily comes off, but the potato doesn't split completely open. So what we're gonna do next is remove them from the heat, run them under cold water until we're able to touch them, and set them aside. Next, we're gonna slice the potatoes in half lengthwise. Next, we're gonna put the potatoes on high heat, add a loving dollop of oil, and give them a toss. Next, we're gonna saute the onions. Put a loving dollop of olive oil in the pan, toss in your onions, and put it on medium-high heat and begin to saute it. Preparing for the tofu dish, we're gonna crumble the tofu into the bowl and get it ready easy to toss in. Switching to the vegetarian option, once the onions are nice and golden brown, we're gonna go ahead and put the eggs in. Whisk them really lightly because you want a really fluffy egg. So every maybe 20 to 30 seconds, you're gonna just fold them into themselves, being very delicate in order to keep the egg very fluffy and not mashing into them and making more of like a coarse scrambled egg. Before the eggs are entirely finished, when there's just a sheen of runniness left to them, go ahead and turn off the heat so that they can finish cooking in the pan to keep that fluffy texture. The beans are super easy. We're just gonna stick all the ingredients into a pan, turn it on high heat, and stir until hot. It's about 1 to 2 minutes. So next up, we're gonna warm the tortillas. And this is a little bit of a dangerous process because if you have access to it, we're gonna use an open flame. So how we're gonna do this is grab your tortilla, put it over the open flame, turn down the heat to flip it when necessary, and leave it on the high heat about 15 to 20 seconds on each side. So what you're gonna do is put the tortilla there, leave it, let it get brown, turn the heat down or all the way to off if that makes you feel more comfortable. Flip the tortilla over and turn it back on. And you're gonna flip it multiple times until it gets the nice little crispy brown on the outside because that gives it a good extra flavor. If you by chance don't have access to an open flame, that's totally okay. The ideal way you can do it at this point is to put it on a non-stick pan and flip it in the same way of like 15 to 20 seconds on each side until it starts to have a little bit of a brown and it's warm on both sides, and you'll still get a great flavor from this as well. I'm gonna show you a fun and easy chef tip that you can use to make your food look just a little fancier. If you have a Ziploc bag, we're gonna pour the aioli into the Ziploc bag, cut off the corner, and squeeze it onto the tacos so it has a nice, fun zigzag shape as opposed to just dolloping it on top. Now it's time for the fun part. Let's plate them. To plate these tacos, we're gonna start by putting the beans and either tofu or eggs in them. Move over and do all of the toppings on it. I'm a local vegan and vegetarian private chef. If you're looking to have a chef come and cook for you in your home, I would love to be that for you. You can find me on my website at gardencuisinemeals.com or on Instagram at gardencuisinemeals. I look forward to hearing from you, and I hope you guys had so much fun today because I had so much fun with you.
I'm Lecosha and I'm a taco enthusiast, and today we're making High Desert Spritzers, which are a somewhat savory and somewhat sweet cocktail spritzer that go great with breakfast tacos. The ingredients required for the spritzer we're making today are Prosecco, or some kind of sparkling wine or champagne, garlic, some rosemary for garnish, salt for the rim, and a grapefruit. First, we're gonna plate some salt. Now we're gonna cut up the grapefruit. We'll just cut it into quarters or eighths, whatever works for you, whatever your hands are more comfortable grasping. So we're going to remove a clove from our garlic and slice it up. Crush the garlic and release the allicin. So now we're gonna take our crushed garlic and we're gonna rub the oil of the garlic on the rim of the glass. Using the oil from the garlic, we're going to coat the rim of the glass in salt. Next, we're gonna pour our Prosecco in our glass. All right, now we're gonna squeeze in our grapefruit. And this is also to taste, of course. If you think that it needs more or less grapefruit, that's up to you. So last but not least, we're gonna garnish with rosemary. We're just gonna smack to release the oils and then throw it in our glass. And now you enjoy.